Hi, I'm Jamie Miller, a registered SQF consultant and food safety consultant at Kellerman Consulting, and you are watching our video series on allergen risks and controls in food facilities. In this series, we have reviewed how to determine the risk level of a facility for allergen hazards and how to identify and control allergens and labels as part of a comprehensive allergen control system. When an allergen program is successful in controlling allergens and it is observed through review that there are little or no non-conforming behaviors or actions involving allergens, we have a valid allergen program. However, in order to demonstrate internally and to inspectors or auditors that allergen controls are up to date and functioning each day of operation, we also have to verify those controls regularly. In this video, we are going to look at the main ways that an allergen verification is achieved for a valid allergen control program. The first verification activity is the allergen assessment in the facility. This is a practice that should be done by all facilities, regardless of whether they determine themselves to be low risk, medium risk, or high risk. In our last episode, we discussed locating and labeling allergens in the facility, as well as assessing eating areas and vending machines for allergens. We need to take those assessments and check that allergens assessed previously are up to date and accurate, and we need to perform this check at a minimum of annually. For facilities that bring in new chemicals regularly or have made substantial changes to operations, once a year may not be frequent enough, and allergen assessments may be more frequent, such as twice per year or quarterly. When performing the allergen assessment for the facility, we should break down the facility into GMP areas, including sampling areas, and non-GMP areas. We need to assess the status of allergens in the food we handle or process and confirm the schedule build and operations. This means checking the vertical storage practices of allergens to ensure allergens are not stored over ingredients which do not contain like allergens, and checking to ensure storage does not pose a risk to ingredients. We also need to examine pre-operative inspections for allergens and label check practices for allergens to make sure those are up to date and accurate to practices in the facility. Even though assessments for allergens should be performed for facilities of all risk levels, facilities with medium and high risk designations have additional activities that need to be performed. One of those primary responsibilities for facilities with a medium or high risk for allergens is to assess the production schedule for control of allergens each day of operations. When building the production schedule to control for allergens, we should start a day's production with products that either do not have allergens or that have the fewest allergens. Where the first product has no allergens, the next product during the shift may be run without a full cleaning as long as there are not other pathogen or quality risks associated with that changeover or the products produced during those runs. The reason this is acceptable is because the previous allergen is also in the next product, so there is no cross-contact of unlike allergens. Where a product does contain an allergen, as long as the next scheduled product for the shift contains the same allergen, also referred to as like-to-like, this changeover does not require a cleaning for allergen controls. We should be building from the fewest number of allergens in the early production run on the line to the products with the most allergens, always going from like allergen to like allergen in products. Assessment of the production schedule is only possible where a documented production schedule is available, and all facilities handling allergens as part of a food production should have a written production schedule each day. Production schedules, even when reviewed as part of production meetings, should be signed or initiated and dated each day by a responsible employee that did not write the schedule. The signing and dating of the schedule indicates that the schedule is correct and controls for allergens have been achieved. When justifying risk for allergens in a program, as is required for a GFSI level allergen control program, these signed and dated schedules are evidence of ongoing control and are excellent documents to present during an audit. Also, where the scheduling is non-conforming in controlling allergens, or where the schedule is otherwise incorrect for any operational issue, the signed schedule is also evidence that can be reviewed during the nonconformance root cause investigation, so they are very valuable documents when properly put into place. Facilities with medium and high risk designations also need to perform some kind of check or test of utensils, tools, and food contact surfaces for allergen residues that may lead to cross contact. There are several novel approaches for allergen control verification, but two of the most commonly used options for allergens come in two forms: allergen swabs and allergen test kits. The first option is surface swabs, which are similar to the ATP swabs we discussed in our episode of environmental monitoring. Allergen swabs, like ATP swabs for bacteria, can be rubbed on surfaces and will change colors if an allergen protein is present on that surface. These swabs are not allergen specific and instead indicate the general presence of allergens on surfaces. Allergen swabs are usually used after cleaning actions to prove that no allergens are present on the surface. When allergen swabs are performed and recorded, this is a best practice verification check at pre-operation to demonstrate that allergens are controlled for tools and equipment. The second testing option would be to utilize allergen test kits for specific allergens in operations. Allergen test kits can be used on products to test for the presence of allergens or the lack of allergens in a product. This can be very valuable as demonstrating a final product's lack of allergen contamination shows proof of effective allergen controls. Allergen test kits are generally much more expensive per test than allergen swabs, and as a result, testing using allergen kits is done less frequently and generally according to a routine and less frequent schedule compared to allergen surface swabbing. Where the facility chooses to purchase and use allergen swabs or allergen test kits, documented procedures explaining how these activities are conducted, who performs these activities, and who verifies them should be in place. Those written procedures should also include what to do if there's a deviation as a result of a positive test for an allergen, as well as where testing was not performed correctly. Additionally, it is very important that all employees responsible for using this equipment have documented training on proper utilization of the swabs and/or kits, as well as yearly assessments of swabbing or testing activities to confirm that folks are performing these tests correctly. In our next episode, we are going to look closer at the FDA preventive controls requirements for allergens, as well as the FSIS requirements for allergen controls in meat and poultry facilities. Thank you for watching. For more food safety training videos